right, so welcome again, ladies. Happy New Year. All the best for 2024. I can't believe we're on the seventh day already. I think 2024 has something up its sleeve, so it's going just as fast as 2023 did. But I'm hoping it will slow down a bit so that we all get to enjoy it a little bit more than I think we all did last year. Um, it's our first live together for 2024. And I just wanted to start today with something a little bit different. So I'd love you to open your mics, or you can put it in the chat, whichever you're more comfortable with, and let me know where you're joining from, one, and two, one word that depicts how you're feeling today. Just one word. I think I'll start. So I'm Deon Cecile, your host from Jamaica. And my one word today would be excited. The reason for that, and you can also give a reason if you so choose. My reason for being excited is that one, I'm here with you all again today and every month thereafter for the rest of the year, all being well. And I'm excited to see what 2024 brings. 2024 brings. 2023 was a little bit um, challenging to say the least, but I'm excited to see what happens in 2024. So, who is next? That's my one word and where I am from.
I am Marsha. I'm in Barbados, but I'm Jamaican. Happy to be Jamaican. My word is grateful. I'm grateful to be alive. Grateful just to be here to see another year. And I'm looking forward to what the year has. And I intend to exercise gratitude every step of the way.
Wonderful. I love that.
Hello, I'm Anissa. I live in Atlanta, but I'm joining from Fort Lauderdale today. And my word is gratitude. Gratitude. Just last year was, should I say, challenging? Lots of life lessons. I'll say, learned a lot, and I'm grateful because in learning all of those things, it has better prepared me for what is to come in 2024. And I'm just grateful for what has passed and what is to come.
Okay, great. I love that.
I am Alrica, and I am coming from Florida, West Palm Beach. And my word is also gratitude. I'm grateful to be alive. I am grateful for the opportunities that are going to come to fruition this year. And I'm grateful to be a part of this group.
Thank you, Alrica. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your word. And I noticed that everyone really has chosen the word gratitude, save and except for me, which I'm just excited. And in that excitement, too, there is gratitude there as well, because as Anessa said, there are so many life lessons that came out of 2023 that she's hoping will guide her in 2024. And I do agree with that as well. I'm grateful to be alive and well. And I really hope that as we all step forward into 2024, all the lessons that we had in 2023 will guide us to be better persons and to help us to achieve our goals in 2024. As you all know, and for those who will join later or watch this later, I started the Let's Talk Peri Menopause in Bracket talk show podcast because I wanted to have open conversations about what I have been through, what I continue to go through, and the hope that it will help other women to be more open about their challenges and good fortune, because not everybody goes through this. And for those who don't, that's wonderful. I wish I was on that side of the fence. But I'm hoping that this platform and this program will help us to grow together as a community and to share our experiences so that other persons who are having similar challenges and don't have anybody who they can comfortably speak with that they can come here and feel comfortable knowing that they can have conversations here and leave having learned something else and having found a different way to deal with the challenges that they may be having. So far, we've had, since we started in August, and it's the first Sunday of every month at 6 p.m., either on YouTube Live or now Zoom. We have had general discussions about perimenopause. We've played perimenopause bingo, and I have two of my previous winners online here who wanted to ensure that they were toe to toe with winning. I think I did something wrong when I was initially setting up the bingo cards, because I don't understand how they could be winning so often, but we'll not get into that today. But we played perimenopause bingo. We spoke about perimenopause generally. We also looked at the things that we can wear, especially on those days when we're having those hot flash situations. And we had a guest speaker, Sharon Piani from Jamaica, who is a fitness and nutrition coach, who spoke to us about fitness and nutrition during this phase. In the meantime, I encourage you to continue to share the platform with your friends, continue to let them know about this community so that more persons can join and share, because I think it is important as women that we share what is happening so that you don't feel alone going through this kind of thing. You shouldn't have to, and there's a lot of information out there, but what I find, and it's one of the reasons why I also started this, is that yes, the information is out there, but nobody really speaks to how exactly it affects them and what they go through and what they have done or not done. Excuse my dog in the background. That is not my dog. That is my neighbor's dog, but he's joining our conversation today. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and share my screen and bring up this thing here. As we continue talking about what perimenopause is, what menopause, the entire thing is menopause, but they have broken it down into phases. And most of us here are either in the perimenopause phase or we're actually transitioning into the full-blown menopause phase. But as I say, it's that thing that we women love to hate. We know that we love it because we're now exiting or periods and the whole fertility kind of situation where you can do things and don't get pregnant right now, or you probably you still have a window, but the chances are a little bit smaller for that to happen. So we're happy that we're exiting that phase of our life, but now we're getting into this phase that is really, the hot flashes, the forgetfulness, everything that happens during this phase, and then because I think our hormones are changing, the things happen at different times and at different intensities. So we just have to find ways to navigate through it all. Now, what exactly is all right, forgive me, ladies, sometimes I'm a little bit technologically I have a technological deficit. So when I'm trying to do certain things, I thought I could just slide this thing, but apparently I can't. So I'm going to share it a different way and hope it works this time when I share it that way. Yeah. So what is it? And as I said before, perimenopause is just one of the stages of the whole menopause cycle. It's what I call our midlife transition, or what most people refer to as our midlife transition. We're in our 40s heading to 50s, and everybody thinks that's a segment of our life, which is our midlife crisis or our midlife joy or midlife transition, whichever one you want to name it. But for me and the experience that I've had so far, it's the roller coaster ride of all roller coaster rides, because I can tell you between the end of 2022 to now, it has been a roller coaster. And I'm not sure who else here has been going through it, but we're going to look at 12 of the symptoms today, and walk through those, to see, how many of those we have actually gone through so far. So right here, this is just telling you that the stages of menopause. So they have, based on shecares.com, and that's, by the way, this is a good website, resource website, that you can find a lot of things on menopause and women's health, as well. So they talk about the premenopause, which is our teenage to mid-40s years, where we go through the high or puberty, the periods and everything like that. And then we switch over into perimenopause, which is where most of us are at this point. We're in our mid-40s to early 50s, and then transition to menopause, which is early 50s to onwards, right? So, so this is just showing you what the stages, or what they have classified the stages of menopause to be. All right. So we're going to dive into what some of the signs are and the symptoms are. And I'm going to look at 12 of the most common ones that we go through, or we might go through, because as I said before, not everybody goes through them. Hi, Hillary, welcome. Nice to have you. We have an open mic policy today, so don't feel any way about opening your mics and joining in the conversation. If you have something that you want to say right away, no problem. Just raise your hand or open your mic and feel free to go ahead. Welcome, ADJ. I'm not sure who ADJ is, but welcome. It is nice to have you. As I said, we're going to dive into what the 12 most common symptoms are. And ADJ and Hillary, I will come back to you a little later in the conversation to ask you to let us know where you're coming from, where you're joining from, and what is the one word that you'd use to describe how you're feeling right now. It's how we started the session, and I'd love for us to continue like that as persons join. So the first sign that most of us would recognize that something is happening with our bodies and our hormones are changing is that we go through the irregular menstrual cycles. So it gets heavier or lighter. You have longer, it becomes longer or shorter, and sometimes it decides to behave sporadic. It skips. It's like you have it for next 2 months, and then 2 to 3 months it disappears and it's back again. And you don't know if you're going to have a light period or a heavy period, it's going to come for 1 day or 10 days. So a lot of persons who I have spoken to, plus what research speaks to, is the fact that all of these things are happening because the hormones in our body is changing, especially estrogen and progesterone. And the one that triggers most of these things, though, is when our estrogen starts to deplete. And we're going to have a conversation. One of our lives will be strictly talking about how the depletion of progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen affects us women. And yes, we do have testosterone, and when that gets depleted, that's when our sex drive gets affected and all of those things. So the next one is hot flashes and night sweats. Now, a raise of hands or open mic for those of you who have had experienced this hot flash thing and the night sweats. I don't know about you, but no, I thought you had your hand up to say something.
Oh no, you asked the question to say who has been having hot flashes.
Would you like to share your experience with
Oh
us?
my goodness, it's so embarrassing. I'm lecturing these engineering students. I'm in my nice suit looking nice and fine, and all of a sudden I feel myself like, oh my goodness, I'm sweating. And the students are looking at me and say, Miss, is something wrong? I said, no, nothing is wrong. I just need some water. And they ran and got the water for me, and I had to back off the jacket. And So I went to the doctor and I said, what's going on? He says, you can't wear those type of clothes again.
Oh, wow.
I said, what? Those line stuff. So I started to wear sleeveless dresses, loose dresses, not the suits, not the line suits. I just had to just stop doing that because it was getting a little embarrassing.
Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing that, Hillary. I remember one of the sessions that we had, I spoke about what to wear through the door. And I remember a girlfriend of mine said that she was so embarrassed one day. She went to the bank and she was in the middle of her transaction. So no, she was in the line waiting. And she thought that persons were going to think that, boy, the lady on a beard from morning, or she nasty, or something like that, because her pants, she said her pants crotch was so wet and she had on the pants and water was running down her legs in the pants. And she felt so embarrassed and she didn't know what to do. But these are some of the things that we go through. And with hot flashes, we never know when they're going to come on. They just appear wherever, whenever, for however long they think it needs to be around. I've been home already and I'm in the kitchen cooking and I'm like, I keep brushing off my leg because I thought that something was dropping on my leg or crawling on my leg. And after I did it 2 or 3 times, I said, nothing is going to be crawling on your leg like that you keep having to brush it off. And when I looked down, I was like, why is there a puddle of water at my foot? Water was just literally pouring out of me and running down my legs onto the floor. And I was like, okay, then. And then shortly thereafter, I started having the chills. And I was like, okay, so this is what people talk about when they say they're having hot flashes. I'm not liking this. And I could show you pictures of shirts. I'm out and I have to come home and change my shirts and I'm talking thin shirts. They're soaking wet and clinging to me. And I'm like, so I do understand that level of embarrassment that you talk about, Hillary. And that is something that women unfortunately have to go through. And we just have to find ways to navigate it. So I know I'll do another session as well about what to wear through those doors or what to wear in general, because it's not when you're going through the doors alone, it happens all the time, whether you're home or otherwise. The night sweats is disturbing for me, and I don't know about you if you've had them. It's disturbing for me because I already don't sleep well. And so when this is sheet off, sheet on, sheet off, sheet on. And I'm like, this can't work though, because I'm spending so much time doing that. I'm not resting properly. And that affects how our productivity or attitude towards others, because when you don't sleep well enough, you can be a little bit agitated, to say the least. So the slightest thing somebody says to you can actually kick you off into another zone that you really don't want to be in. The next one, before I go to the next one, I'm actually going to stop sharing for a minute so that I can ask you to answer this poll question. So it says, what is your go-to strategy for tackling those unexpected hot flashes? Do you embrace them like the tropical vacation, like you're in Jamaica on the beach? Or have you mastered it by discreetly using your little, those little hand fans? Or if you're like me, you have ice packs that you stick into different parts of your body when I'm home, because I'm not going to walk with an ice pack on the road. Or do you have some other secret weapon that you use, and what is it? One person has said that they embrace them like the tropical vacation. That's wonderful.
So for me,
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, maybe, I don't have those yet. I've never really
Wonderful.
experienced the ones where I'm, drenched in sweat, but I do have the 1 minute I'm hot, then the next minute I'm cold, but I'm not sweating or I'll be in the office and everybody's freezing, but I'm hot and I want to
Right.
turn down the AC in the building. So then I put on my jacket because I always have a jacket at my desk. I
Right.
put it on, half an hour I have to take it off, but I'm not where I'm drenched in sweat or I'm sweating. So
Oh,
I
that's
don't have that. I don't know if later down it might happen, but I haven't had those. So that's one thing I'm so far getting away with. So yeah, but I do have the hot and cold on and off,
oh,
especially at nights. Taking off the sheet, putting it back
you know.
on, taking off the sheet, putting it back on. And I don't sleep just like you. So yeah.
So you see, we do have a problem. And
Yeah.
yes, Marsha, go ahead.
Well, I haven't answered the poll because I can't identify with the hot flashes. Thank you,
Okay.
God. Thank you, God. And no hot and
Yeah,
cold
for
for me. I
now.
don't have any hot
For
and cold
now.
issues. No hot flashes. Thank God. I'm not even going to say for now. I'm just going to say thank God. If he wants me to bypass all of this, I am eternally grateful. Dear God, thank you, God.
Yes, claim it.
Claim it, Marsha, because trust me, I wonder if I can find. I at the end I look for a photo of a shirt because I had to take a picture of my shirt to send to someone to say this is what I'm going through right now, right? So I'll look for the picture and share it later on. But yes, the hot flashes and the not not sleeping well, etc., because of the night sweats and the hot flashes, it can take a toll on us. So as Marsha said, she's thanking God that she hasn't gotten there, and that's wonderful. I hope you never get there because it's not cute. It's not nice, and it's really frustrating. The one thing I'll say though is that for persons who are going through it, you also need to check to make sure that you're not having a thyroid issue. Because if you have thyroid issues, it can also contribute to the hot, cold feeling. And what I've learned having gone through some of these things and in the whole perimenopause cycle right now is that things that affected you before you went into perimenopause, when you are actually in perimenopause, some of them can be heightened. So the next one I'll look at is the headaches. A lot of persons have reported, and it's one of the common signs. You have these constant headaches and you can't associate them with anything. It's not a sinus headache, it's not a stress headache, it's not a lack of sleep headache, it's not a migraine necessarily, but you have these little annoying headaches and you can't figure out exactly what is causing them. And what research has said and what a lot of the information that is out there has said is that these things happen a lot because our hormones are imbalanced at this point, and we need to find ways to balance back our hormones to alleviate some of these issues. And if you are a migraine sufferer, for example, you will have more instances of migraine headaches while you go through perimenopause and menopause. And if you have allergies, etc., a lot of those things are heightened during perimenopause and menopause because of the hormone imbalance that your body is going through. And the next one that we'll look at is the weight gain and changes in body composition, especially in the belly area. I think I spoke about this the very first live we had, this fupa that I woke up and saw one day. Mind you, I never had a six pack, no problem, but I never had this fupa thing. And I just woke up one day and it was there. Out of nowhere, it just appeared. And I've always had challenges with weight gain and loss. Yes, Alrika said, yes, this one, yes. I've always had issues with with my weight all my life. But now I have to make a conscious effort to exercise, which I am horrible at. And I've set that as one of my goals for 2024 to really work on that because I'm horrible at it and I need to challenge myself to work on that because it will help with the hormone imbalance. It will help with the weight gain. It will help with the fluctuations in my weight. And if you are having such challenges as well, I encourage you to join me to work out so that we at the end of the year we can say, we beat menopause or perimenopause this year. We put it on the back burner. Fatigue and energy changes is the next one. I don't know about you, but at one point last year, my floor and my couch were my best friends. And maybe it was a good thing or a bad thing that I wasn't working full time because I just couldn't manage a full time job. The honest truth is, I couldn't. Last year was the worst year of symptoms for me. And half of the time, I am just, as I said, my floor was my best friend. I just was on my floor because I just couldn't deal with it. I had no energy to do anything. I couldn't be bothered to find energy. That is how bad it was. I could not be bothered to find the energy to do anything. Hillary says in the chat that going to the gym helps a lot and it helped her. And that's a very good thing. And that's why I said I'm challenging myself this year to try and work out more often so that I can alleviate some of these symptoms as best as possible. The next one is mood swings and emotional changes. Can I get a raise of hands for anybody who has had that issue? Or you don't reach there yet either? Because Alrica, Hillary. Yep. The mood swings and the emotional changes. And I can go from 0 to 100 in split seconds. And I'm apologizing on this worldwide platform to persons who I may have gotten irritable with last year because it didn't take anything. Worse, if I did not sleep the night before, I can go from 0 to 100 in split seconds. And then there's also with the emotional changes that we go through, we have the series of depression or anxiety. And that is really, really serious. I don't take for granted when anyone goes through bouts of anxiety or depression. I have been there. I know what it feels like. It is not the best thing because sometimes you don't know how to take yourself out of it. And you really have to find persons that you can speak to who can help. If it means that you go to counseling, then I suggest that you do that. I'm very thankful for my circle of friends because they were very instrumental in getting me through that period, especially 2022 into last year. We see women doing sporadic things, and sometimes we don't know why, and maybe this is exactly why, because they're going through bouts of anxiety and depression. When I was putting together my notes for this, I was like, menopause really has us behaving like we're time bombs. We're just tick, 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 ticking away, and we can just explode at any minute. That's really what it is, because we're going through so many changes that we don't know how to navigate sometimes. And if we don't get the help that we need, then it is going to be even worse. And that's why some women will explode for the slightest things. And for the men who may watch this afterwards, take time with us. We're going through stuff, and it's a challenge and it's not easy, and we just need support. And for the women who will watch this as well, and even for us who are here, we need to support each other more, especially when we're going through this phase, because sometimes we just need somebody who gives us that listening ear for us to spill our guts for 5 minutes and then move on. And for me, I know that music helps. Listening to music always helps, and going for a walk in nature works for me as well. So if you have the opportunity to do any of those things, Put on your headphones, go for a walk in nature, go look at some lizards crawling about the place or something, and just try and relax because it does help. Before I move into the next one, I'm just going to drop the next poll that I have here, which is what's your favorite mood boosting activity during these, what I call the meh moments, when you're not so happy, when you're going through the anxiety, you're going through the depression, you're sad about stuff, you're not even sure what is making you sad, but you're sad. There are days when you don't want to talk to anybody, anything like that. What takes you through that? Do you have a dance party in your house to get your happy juices flowing? Do you indulge in guilty pleasures like your tub of ice cream or your binge watch on Netflix? Do you do meditation or deep breathing exercises? What do you do when you are going through these challenging moments? You can go ahead and answer the poll as well as open your mics and let me know. Anyone, what
The
what
poll
do
is
you
not
do?
up.
Oh, you see, actually, I have technological challenges in it. It is now up. I just put on random music and dance through my house, or I'm not one who indulges a lot in snacks. If I feel for a thing of ice cream, I'll go out and get it, but I'm more to go plug in some music, turn it up loud, and just jiggle my way around the house. For the person who says other, what is the other that you do?
I type it in the chat. Gospel music or some other type of music that's soothing, not a dancer. So I'm not into the dancing part, just the music
Okay,
part.
okay, right. Yeah. What I found that works for me sometimes, I just shut down everything in my house, all lights off, everything off, and I just plug in my earphone and I find some form of music. And it doesn't matter what kind of music. And I just lay down on the floor or in my couch and I'm just there, just listening to the music for a period of time. And that really works for me as well. So our next symptom, which is one that I actually never associated with this before until I was reading and came across it, and it says it's one of the common ones, and it's breast tenderness. And I was like, really? I've been having breast tenderness of a different level for quite a while, but I never would have associated it with the perimenopause. I always thought, okay, maybe my cycle is starting or I'm in ovulation mode or something, but I just never associated it with perimenopause. And I say that because back in the day, um, even when I was ovulating and my cycle was near or anything like that, I never had that kind of sensitivity in my breast. It's only in the last few years. So now I really understand that, yeah, it could have been that for real. Dawn says this is a fact. When that happens, she thinks she's going to get her cycle and then nothing. Yep. I sometimes when it happens, when I take off my bra, my breast is so tender, I feel like somebody has just put a 10-ton um iron thing on it and it's dragging them down. I mean, gravity already doing that, but I also feel like there's somebody has just put on a 10-ton thing on it and it's dragging it further. And I'm like, but why? I can't, when I'm bathing, I'm like, ooh, I can't touch myself. And I'm like, what is going on here? I never used to have this problem before. But as I said, I never would have associated it with this until now. There is a book that I'm going to drop in the chat as well that you guys can look at. I started actually listening to that book today. I came across it on my script account and it is called, let me not lie. It's called Menopause, All You Need to Know in One Concise Manual by Dr. Louise Newsome. She's a GP and a menopause specialist out of the UK. She wrote this book and published it in 2020. And I sat and I listened to, I think, an hour and a half of the book. And I was like, then that me ever go through? I may already got through most of them already. I'm hoping, like Marsha, I'm praying that the universe and the Lord forgets the rest of them because I don't want to go through the rest of those things. And she also started to talk about the treatment options and different things that we can use as women to help us to navigate this period. But I didn't get to finish the book, so I didn't make notes of those yet. So I will update you guys on that when next we join. But I'm going to put the book in the chat, and I'm also going to put in the chat a link to my script account where you can get, I think it's 60 days free using that link. Caveat, you will have to input your payment details, whether it be your credit card or debit card or PayPal account. You will have to put in that information, but you will not be charged for the first 60 days. If you so wish to continue after the 60 days, then your payment method will be charged, but at least you can have the first 60 days free where you can listen to books, read books, and there's millions of books on there. So I'll drop that in the chat as well. The vaginal changes. Because of the decrease in estrogen in our bodies, we end up with thinning or drying of the vaginal tissues. It is recommended at this stage of our lives, whether you're wet, yes or no, that you use lubricants during sexual intercourse. And the reason for that is that even though you think you're wet and wetter than wet, because they're having thinning and changes in your tissue of your vagina, then you may be prone to tears and other things. So it is wise that you use lube during this time. A lot of women have reported that they have discomfort, and again, it's because of the drying and the lack of moisture and not using lubricants. There's also changes in the elasticity. And so we need to practice more often our Kegel exercises. And I know everybody knows what the Kegel exercise is, and I'm sure almost all of us or one of us out of this group has just done the Kegel because I said the word Kegel. Our mind is a hell of a thing. So we need to practice our Kegel exercises to ensure that to help our elasticity stay intact as much as possible. The next one is changes in libido. You have women who have complained that they have no sex drive anymore. Zilch, zero. Them don't want them partner look on them. They don't even want them to see them. The poor gentleman or female, if you're so inclined, comes in, looks at them, and they're like, oh no, don't even think about it. It's not going to happen. Whereas there are some whose libido has gone through the roof. Like Marsha said earlier, she's thanking the good Lord and the universe that she hasn't had any hot flash and anything like that, and she hopes she never has. Well, I hope my libido then never changes. I work with the high libido instead of the not having any. So those are some of the things that we go through, and those are some of the changes that will happen during this phase. And we just need to be mindful. That is why it's so important that we know our bodies, because when we know our bodies, we know exactly that something is off. When I started to have the hot flashes, I knew it didn't just start out as a hot flash. I started to have, like Alrika has, the hot 1 minute, cold 1 minute. But because I had thyroid issues, I associated everything that was happening with that, which I shouldn't, because not only am I taking the thyroid medication, but my thyroid levels are back to normal. So I don't really suffer from that hot, cold all the time. But my body is changing. And so because it is changing, I'm having these additional issues because of the depletion in estrogen, progesterone, and the testosterone, as I said before, is the one that really affects our sex drive. And we're going to have an entire session that we speak about those three things and how they affect us. This is the one I think that all of us here, in some way, shape, or form, can attest to, and that is the cognitive changes. In other words, we forget everything. We feel like we have scatterbrain, and we cannot concentrate on anything. We have difficulty concentrating. So whereas before, we could sit for hours concentrating on work or whatever project we're working on. No, 5 minutes, and you're like, can't do this. What is happening?
That's me.
Yeah, I cannot concentrate to save my life. And Dawn says, worse, when you were forgetful from before. So it's a double whammy. So
Sometimes I think I'm having Alzheimer's. I cannot remember what I'm gonna do from my desk to the kitchen. I don't remember what I'm going there for.
Exactly.
So
I'll give you an example, and this happened to me just this week. I came out of the shower and I'm going into my room to get dressed. Halfway into my room, my eye catches something in the kitchen and I turn back to go and look at it. Then I stop and say, hold on, you're going to get dressed. So go and get dressed first. Going to get dressed. Took up the lotion bottle, put it down, go back in the bathroom, put the lotion bottle, I just put on in the bedroom, right? And I'm like in the bathroom, I said, where did I put the lotion bottle down? And I'm there searching the bathroom. And then I just bust out laughing. I said, but lady, now you just carry the lotion bottle in the bedroom with you though. And I went back into the bedroom, and there was the lotion bottle. And I'm like, I may tell you, this is just not happening. So the forgetful.
there are many days when I'm at work. Now I work half an hour away from my job, from my home, when I have to go in the office. And I'm at work and I'm like, did I turn off the stove? And I'm at work, ready to go to my boss. I'm like, listen, I gotta go home because I don't remember if I turn off my stove or not. And I'm like, I'm trying to walk my steps and be like, did I turn it off? So yeah, it's crazy. So crazy.
The forgetfulness is the worst because I mean, you're doing things, and I remember having read something once about this person who kept going from one thing to the next and having to turn back because they forgot that they were doing X before. And I'm saying, but I'm now doing that. Is this going to be my life? I mean, Dawn says, I constantly have to ask hubby or son to call my phone because I can't find it. Or sometimes I just can't find some keys or something else. Yeah. I have left my house because I always have on a headset. I'm on the phone talking to someone in the car. I'm driving out and I'm partway down the road. The call starts getting cracky and I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a service. And I'm going through the gate. The call cuts off, and I'm now looking for the phone to redial the person just to realize, oh, but you left the phone in the house. So now I have to turn back and go back for the phone. So I can call back the person to say, okay, that was just one of those moments. I'm sorry. So Alrika say, I mean that. Yes, it happens. And ladies, we just have to give ourselves grace. We can't do anything about it. Marsha says, I'm sometimes looking for an item such as my cell phone, and said item is in my hand. I was by my brother's house recently. No, actually, Marsha, it was you and I. I was on the phone and I'm looking for the phone, and Marsha says to me, but you have the phone at your ear. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. No problem. That's fine.
And on Thursday, it happened to me where the person beside me on the plane had to tell me that I was looking for the phone and the phone is right there. And I'm looking for the phone to call back a friend of mine. And the
Oh,
passenger
wow.
beside me had to show me that my phone was right there.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, it is challenging, and I'm hoping that this is just this part of the phase and it doesn't extend into the rest of our lives, because then that is going to be something that is, yeah, I can't go deal with that, because and that's why, and I'm going to drop the seed now, that is why it is good to be organized in some aspects. Because if you keep all of your keys one place, for example, I have a habit. I come through the door, all my keys go one place religiously. So you say any day I can't find my key then, is because I had a lapse in memory and I never put it where it's supposed to go. But because I'm so used to putting it exactly where it is supposed to go, I am thankful that so far I have not lost keys. I have left phones and stuff like that, but not keys. I make lists on my phone or on paper. Okay. Yes, making lists is a very good thing. I realize now that listing that I used to tell people, oh no, I don't need to do that. I can keep everything up here and I can go wherever and everything will be fine. Not anymore. I have a running supermarket list. I have a running list of things I need to do when I go on the road. So when I go on the road, I just um go through them. Yep, making lists on your phone is a savior. Or no, I have a notebook that is always in my bag. And so as soon as I remember something, I jot it down in the notebook and flip through it when I'm ready to see what it is that I need to do.
Yeah, I have a what do you call that? It's a thing that you put on your refrigerator. It's a
A
whiteboard.
whiteboard, right?
So once I'm out of something, I put it on there. So I have my list for the week.
Right.
And every morning I go into work, I make a list of all the things that I can remember that I need to do. And then I tick them off and I tick them. Because if I don't do that, I'm going to forget something.
Yep.
So
Hillary says I keep a journal and write things daily. Yes. It's important at this age and stage of our lives. If you don't have a physical book, you have
sorry,
it on your
not to cut
phone.
you. And I have to do that with my bills. Because if I don't, the ones that are not on auto pay are not going to get paid because I'm going to forget. So every day I have to check my planner. What's
Yep.
due today? Yeah.
I pay all my bills at the same time every month. Whether you're due or not, I'm paying you one time. Luckily, most of them are due on or around the same time. So I pay all of them one time, because guess what? You see, from me not do that, like Alrika says, something is not going to get paid. And it happened a few months ago. Paid everything on the day, and then there's one bill. I said, no, man, not gonna pay this one today with the rest of them. I'm gonna wait until the exact due date. Due date come and gone 1 month later. The bill not paid. And I'm wondering why the next month I'm getting a statement from these people to say that I missed a month. I never miss a month. And then I went back and checked and I said, oh, so this is the bill that I said I would pay on the exact due date. Yeah. I ended up paying it 2 months later, a month later. So I had two bills to pay now instead of one. And it's funny because I've always seen people joke about this, that when they have extra money in their bank account, they know something wrong. Yeah. I had extra money that month and I was wondering why I have this extra. I don't usually have extra money like this after I pay these bills. So why do I have this extra money? I should have known something was wrong. But I went ahead and spent the money. I think I went and bought ice cream. But anyway, yeah. Dawn says, I find that for me, slowing down helps as well as trying to focus on doing one thing at a time. It at least lessens these moments. And that is true. I think we overuse this word multitask, that we need to be multitasking and doing all of these different things one time. And we really need to be slowing down. Not only because it helps with focusing and doing one thing at a time, but it lessens our stress as well. When we are doing 10 things at a time, we get highly agitated and stressed because we feel that we need to complete these 10 things within this specific time when we don't. So we need to dissect, slow down, as Dawn says, and decide, okay, am I going to do this, this, or this? What exactly is it that I'm going to do? And do it accordingly. Yes, sometimes we have to multitask, but let it not be the norm. And the last thing I have on the list of 12 is joint and muscle pain. Joint and muscle pain. I'm getting pains in some areas that I never knew I was supposed to get pains there. And I realized at this age too, yes, Alrika has agreed, knee pain, all kind of pains. And I realized as well, we are lacking collagen at this stage. And it's something I heard while listening to the book today as well. We need to get collagen supplements or eat a lot more foods that have collagen in them. And the foods that have collagen in them is all of the food things that people don't like to eat. So the chicken food, the pig food, the cow food, the cow skin, things that are, I want to say, known in the Jamaican culture. A lot of those things that, and that's why a lot of our foreparents never had some of the issues we're having now, because they used to eat a lot of those things. I think there's one thing, where did I have that now? Where I spoke to, I can find it. The same joint and muscle pain. We need to top up our omega-3 fatty acids and our calcium. And we can get that from foods or supplements. So our fish, especially fish that is high in omega-3 fatty acids, like our salmon and stuff like that, we need to have more of those things. We need to have a lot more calcium-rich foods. Or if we can't have the foods, then we need to have the supplements, because those will help with the joint pains as well. Dawn has shared a blog, a website here that we can look at. There is something called frozen shoulder. I think I have this. Okay, Dawn, I will definitely read up on this. What exactly is it? Can you just give us a summary of what that is? Of what it is?
What you're saying is that, sometimes if you get these shoulder pains, sometimes you feel as if you slept in a bad position or something like that. And for the life of me, I can't recall sleeping on a pillow that's too high or low. My same pillows, they're not flat, they're in good condition. And for the life of me, there is just a constant pain in my right shoulder. And then I think it was last week or the week before, I was scrolling on IG and I'm like, frozen shoulder. And what they said in the article was that a lot of doctors overlook the symptoms when their patients come in. And persons in the comments were saying another thing that male doctors overlook when females express themselves to them as some of the things that we go through. But they
Right.
are now acknowledging that this is also one of the things that people go through. And you may experience it, but not a lot of people are talking about it. But it's becoming more commonplace now. So they actually have put it under one of the symptoms.
Right. Thanks for sharing that, because I had my right shoulder, I have a torn rotator cuff. I don't play tennis. I'm not involved in any sports. I'm not a sports fanatic of any kind. I will watch it occasionally, and usually because I'm trying to please somebody. I'm watching it, not because I'm interested, really. I cannot figure out how I have a torn rotator cuff. Neither can my physiotherapist or the orthopedic surgeon. But I have a torn rotator cuff that I've had to spend thousands of dollars on, getting acupuncture and all kind of treatment to get it back where I can now safely lift up my hand. I could not do this last year. Okay. So I now need to go and read that thing down on frozen shoulder because maybe that's where it started at. Last year, July was when I was, I guess I call it diagnosed as have been in perimenopause because I spent the entire year doing all manner of tests, including wearing a Holter monitor, which is a heart monitor for 24 hours. Because the first night I had a panic attack, they thought that I was having a heart arrhythmia, only to find out that panic attacks are commonplace with perimenopause. Worse if you are going through a stressful period, which I was. So all of these things happen to us. So it's just these 12 are just what they consider to be the common ones. There are over 80 perimenopause symptoms, 80. And as I tell you, when I was listening to that book today, I was like, I hope to God I never have to go through some of these things. And what the doctor was saying is that when we go to doctors, we need to, as women, it doesn't matter if they're pushing it under the rug, we need to talk about the things that we're going through. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it until they start to listen. Because after I did a barrage of tests, I was in and out of doctors' offices. I was in and out of multiple doctors' offices, not just one. And it's when I went to the last doctor, I said, look here, man, is this or could any of this that I'm going through be related to perimenopause? Because I am tired. I have no more money to spend with y'all. I have no more money to give labs. I just can't be doing all of these tests and everything is coming back clear, thankfully. Everything is coming back clear. But and all of this is happening to me. And that is when the doctor sat back and said, you know, this could be right. You could be right. And I'm like, one of the things I actually did is that I reached out to my gynecologist at that point, and he ordered a particular test for me, which I went and did, which you ladies can do too. And I plan to do it every year because it tests your hormone levels, so you will know when you have no transition from perimenopause to full-blown menopause, because you will see the differences in your hormones. So I'm not in menopause yet, but I'm still going through perimenopause. And perimenopause can be the worst stage because all of the signs and symptoms and the challenges that you have are usually within this phase. It goes over into menopause, yes, and it can be extremely bad at the very beginning of it, and then it tapers off as you get closer to the end part of menopause. I have dropped in the chat, and you can copy the links for yourself, a video that was done and uploaded to my Let's Talk Peri podcast on YouTube playlist that speaks about brain fog. And there's a nice little clip from, I don't remember which one of the websites it's from right now, but I included it in that video that speaks to brain fog, why it happens, how it happens, what we can do. There's also this link to script where, as I said, you can get 60 days free if you use that link, and you can cancel it before the 60 days so you don't have to pay for it going forward. There's also the link to a breathing exercise that Sharon walked us through in that particular session that we did on fitness and nutrition. It's called 16 Seconds to Calm, where you can, anytime you're feeling anxious, or you are having a panic attack, or you're on the verge of having a panic attack, because now I know how to discern when I'm going into a panic attack stage, and so I can alleviate that better than before. And you can use this breathing exercise as well to help you to calm yourself down within that 16 seconds so you don't go into a full-fledged panic attack thing. Because I can tell you, Panic attacks are not nice at all. They are horrible. And for persons who live alone, it can be even more daunting for them because when you're going through this and there's no one around you to help you, to comfort you, to give you any form of assistance, it can make things worse. So I've dropped all of those links in the chat. Right, shecares.com is a good platform to visit that has a lot of information on menopause. And the doctor who wrote this book, Menopause, All You Need to Know in One Concise Manner, she's Dr. Louise Newsom, and she's a menopause specialist and a GP out of the UK. That good book is a good book to listen to. And I think it's 3 hours or a little over 3 hours. So you can listen to it on your drive to or from work or when you have some time on the weekend as well. My last thing for you ladies today is just one question. What's the most unexpected or amusing piece of advice you've received or you've seen about navigating this whole menopause phase of our life? What's the most interesting or unexpected, amusing, interesting piece of advice you've seen or gotten that says that this is what you ought to do, or this is how it works, or this is what will happen during this phase? Has anybody experienced any of that?
Well, when I went to the doctor and I asked him, what is it? He said, just ride it, Hillary. Just ride it. If you don't want to go to work today, go to the beach, just ride it. I said, okay.
Okay, so was he going to give you a note to take you to work and say, oh, I'm just riding it today, I'm not going to work today?
Yes.
Well, that's good then. But yes, so my takeaway from today, and you can all, I'd love all of us to say what our takeaway from today is. My takeaway from all that we've shared so far is that we need to slow down a bit. We need to give ourselves grace. That yes, we are considered to be superhumans. Women are considered to be humans, but we need to slow down and take our time so that we can navigate this phase of our life with less challenges. Hillary says, do you and enjoy life? Yes, 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 yes. And that is one of my mantras for 2024. Do you, baby, and enjoy your life. Don't watch what anybody is going to say. Just do you and enjoy life, because at the end of the day, you, the individual, is the only one who knows what you're going through, appreciates what you're going through, understands what you're going through, and has to deal with what you're going through. Even if you have support of family and friends, you're still the one who's going through all of that. So do you enjoy your life? Give yourself grace. If you can't do this today, like Hillary's doctor said, go ride it out. Find a beach, lie down with a book, write it out, enjoy life, and move on.
For me, there's two. I'm not alone in this thing.
Right.
And I don't have Alzheimer's.
I love that. You don't have Alzheimer's. No, girl. We're not calling that word. We're not claiming it. We're not noting it. We're not putting it into the atmosphere because we do not have Alzheimer's. We are just going through a phase where our brain occasionally takes a walk and we just have to walk behind it and play catch up. Okay? That's it. No Alzheimer's around here. Thank you for sharing. Dawn, Marsha?
Alrika just took mine. I was going to say, I'm not alone. Alrika, I should have gone before.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah, that
You
struck
can take
me.
it. You're
And
not alone.
some of those symptoms that you listed, like the breast tenderness and stuff, I had heard that it was associated with menopause. So, so
Okay.
my takeaway is that I'm going to read up so that if Like when things happen to other people around me and they're talking, I can help them.
I like Marsha's attitude. I like it.
Yes,
She
when
she
things
not
happen, when things
she was
happen to
about
people around me, I can help them.
she was about to say if and when, you know, we have that statement, if and when, but it's like she catch up on herself and say,
That's not the mantra.
no,
No. Different mindset.
not if or when, it's not going to
Yes,
happen
not
around
claiming
here.
it in Jesus' name. The only one I've had though is the first one that you mentioned,
Right.
the erratic period. It has taken a break more than once for 3 months. Like, okay, the first time I panicked and doctor did all the tests, the gynecologist did all the tests, and then by process of elimination, we came to perimenopause. So let's just say that's the conclusion. And it has been longer than usual, heavier than usual, but thankfully it only did that longer than usual once. So it's now its normal self, which is I'm thankful for. So that's the only one that I can pinpoint. Yeah, forgetfulness and stuff could be just me just
being forgetful.
Yes, and doing too many things at once and allowing things to distract me. So not so sure if that's perimenopause per se, but maybe it is. But definitely that in terms of physical things, just the erratic period.
Okay. Dawn, I think you're the last one that's left. Any takeaways from today? Oh, hold on. Chat is up.
I put mine in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Take it easy, slow down. Yes, I agree. So, in summary, we're going to take it easy for 2024. We're going to slow down for 2024. When we're having any form of anxiety or anything, we're going to learn to breathe for 16 seconds, calm ourselves down or go ride it out. However you ride it out, you're going to ride it out. And we're going to give ourselves grace and understanding and know that this too shall pass and we're not alone. None of us are alone. We have this community, and I hope and pray that we continue to grow this community so that we have more women who will join and share their stories and be open in sharing their stories, because that is what is important for me, that we are open when we're sharing our stories so that everyone can understand and know that this is what will happen. This is how it can happen. So it might happen. And we're here to help each other through it. All right. So again, ladies, thank you so much. It is our first live for 2024. We have 11 more sessions to go. As long as there is life and breath, I will continue to do this and continue to share. And I thank you so much for joining on your Sunday afternoon or your Sunday evening, should say, when I know that you have so many other things to do. And you could have been doing other things, but you decided to share your time with me, and I really appreciate it. I look forward to our other conversations. And as I said before, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you turn on your notifications so that you know when something new is loaded. I will continue to share other perimenopause stuff on the YouTube channel throughout the course of the month until we meet again, which that will be the first Sunday in February, which is, oops, where's my calendar? The first Sunday in February is actually the 4th of February. So our next live will be the 4th of February at 6 p.m. Same time, same place. So that's it for today. Thank you, ladies. Have a beautiful week. Be blessed, be safe, and take a chill pill every now and then if you find yourself going down the slippery slope of one of the challenges of perimenopause. All right? Have a good one and talk soon.
Bye.
Have a productive week. Yes. Thank you, Dawn. Have a productive week. Yes. Bye, everyone.